lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Defeated, and you're down for the count. You feel like life has thrown you blows and God ain't been around. But I've come to encourage you, so hold your head high. Know that God is in your corner now. Inner lies. You are a winner. You just can't lose. Who burn a KO more than a conqueror? Jesus in you. You are a winner. You are born to win. Burn a KO, more than a conqueror, power within. You are a winner. Somebody's saying to me now, you just don't understand. No, I understand you very well, 'cause that's where I've been. So I come to encourage you, pull you up by your hand. Know that God is in your corner now. Your success is His plan, and you are a winner. You just can't lose. Burn a KO, more than a conqueror. Jesus
Good evening, and welcome to Fabulous and Faithfully Fit on Elation Radio. I'm Jacquelyn A, along with Monica Ballard and Valerie Mentor. We invite you to tune in Tuesday evenings as we talk about, explore, and discuss topics and themes that will help you experience abundance in every area of your life. We will talk about being educationally equipped, emotionally healthy, physically healthy, professionally purposeful, relationally connected, being a sensible steward, and spiritually grounded. All these areas are important for an abundant life. We will be practical and honest and transparent, but not preachy, and we will use the scriptures as a point of departure. And we will always leave you some takeaways, if you will, so you can use the information in your daily life. So pour yourself a cup of tea, pull up a chair, and chat with us. And tonight we're going to be talking about being relationally connected. Relationally connected. And our scripture reference for this evening is Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of
Good evening.
Hello.
Monica. Hey, Val.
Hey, Monica.
How are you?
Hey, Jack.
Hey. Good evening.
Yeah.
So, Valerie, I don't know about you, but can we talk? I mean, I just, this whole topic about relationships and, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Thank you. There is so much that we could say. So much comes to mind. And a lot of times when people hear just the word relationship, they automatically assume that it deals with a male and a female, usually
right.
in a romantic type of situational way, whether they be dating casually or if it's serious, if they're affianced, if they're engaged to be married, and or if they're married. But I am from the school of thought that relationships do actually extend beyond that between a man and a woman, and that it does not always mean that it is sexual in nature, but culturally, people just period seem to think a lot of times that when you're talking about relationships, that's what you're talking about. So I'm looking forward to us diving into this subject this evening and really covering as much as we can and talking about things that make relationships go and grow. I mean, because, and I believe that we will be able to share, and our listeners will be able to understand what we're saying and glean from it and have some actual real takeaways, because they'll see the overlap, that there are certain things that must exist first and foremost in any relationship in order for it to be healthy, and in order for it to succeed. What about you, Valerie? What do you think?
I agree. I think mostly the reason why people normally think it's like male and female, because I don't know, maybe it's just me. I think we are living in a sexual, we're just sexually charged world now, and everything it revolves around sex. But like you said, I can say my most fulfilling relationships have been from my girlfriends. And, my girls over the years, I was thinking about when Jack was saying we were going to talk about relationships. I have a girlfriend that I've known since I think we were 3. And we're still cool to this day. We don't talk every day or like, some of my other friends. But it's like if she picks up the phone or if she calls me or I call her, boom, it's like we had nothing, we don't skip a beat, you know what I mean? It's one of those kind of you can pick up and go kind of friends. I think Jackie and I are like that too, because sometimes Jackie and I don't talk. often, but it's most true. We started giggling and, like we were 30-some odd years ago. So I think, to me, those are my more fulfilling relationships because, and I mean no harm. Men can come and go, but your girls are going to be there for you. And that's
and I you're right. I completely agree with that. The beautiful thing about relationships that are authentic, and that is of the friendship kind, is that people who are your authentic, who are there for you, they take you the good, bad, the different, and you, like you said, Valerie, you pick up with them right where you left off. I was just thinking about a friend that I've known for many, many years, and since I was about maybe 10, and I was thinking, I got to call her. But I promise you, when I do, it'll be just like we just talked last week. And the reality is we have not spoken this year. But what I love about authentic friendships, be it female friends, male friends, is that people who are your ride or dies, ladies, y'all know this, and in the audience, I know you all have heard it too. Those are the people that you want in your life because they help keep you grounded, and they will tell you what you need to hear versus what you want to hear. They'll remind you of things, and they are what I call my accountability family members. They're my accountability partners because they help keep me accountable. They celebrate my successes, but when I mess up, y'all, they will call me out in a minute. Like,
and that's what you need.
But
that's what you need. You need someone who's gonna call you on your stuff. You know what I mean? And like you said, and my friends can do that, and that's, to me, is what a true friend is. Now, if I can't call you on your stuff, then you're an associate. I put you in that associate slot. But if you're my girl, then you should be able to check me. I should be able to check you. You should be able, and then they even know you. They know you. You know what I mean? Yeah, they know you. Like when you're not, I remember my girlfriend, she was going through a divorce, and she was on Facebook just clowning. And I'm like, what the, whoa. So I had to call her, like, what is going on with you? And so she was like, I went left it. Now, I think I need for you to stop, put your phone down, and let it go, because I don't know what you're not going to be able to pull that back. And she was like, okay. Now, this is the same girlfriend, like you said, that we hadn't talked in a while, but I knew something wasn't right. This ain't right. So let me reel you back in, and that's what you want from a friend. Yeah.
You're better, and y'all know you better. Y'all have always had my permission. You better call me.
I know that's right.
You better. Y'all better, because, I mean, if your friends, if your ride or dies, if they can't call you out, the people that the word reminds us that, and I love the scripture that Jackie gave out of Proverbs, but then remember the one, too, that speaks about greater have no man than this, than one who will lay down his life for his friend. That's relationship. That's being relational. And when you put someone, because that, I don't know about y'all, but, I have three, I compartmentalize things when it comes to people. I have acquaintances, associates, and I have friends. Guess which circle is the smallest? My friends.
Your friends.
Those are the ones who they probably know stuff about me my parents and my family don't know. And those are the kind of things, that's black male information, but they already know. They better take it to their grave. Because you got the same kind of stuff. So it's like, are you serious? You play too much. But, So that right there, and that's just key. And that's key. And when we are authentic and we're real, and we're able to say, hey, you know what, I need to be checked. Thank you for that, because, I was out of line. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. So, Jackie, what you
Well,
got?
Monica and Valerie, y'all been having a good conversation. I got kicked off the line for some reason. So, oh,
we
back.
held it down, though, didn't we?
Yes, y'all did. You were in your zone, and that's good.
Yeah, we were in our friend zone.
Your friend zone.
We were in our friend zone.
The three of us.
One of the things I want to bring out that I heard you all talk about, and that is this ride or die true friends that you pick up. You don't talk to them every day, but when you pick up the phone, it's like the conversation has never ended. And one of the relationships in the Bible that I think is a very interesting relationship, and it's one of those to the death friendships, and that is between Jonathan and David.
Yes.
David,
yes.
Jonathan and David. Okay, David, you know, of course, ended up being the king of Israel, and then Jonathan was his best friend. But Jonathan was also the son of Samuel, okay, who was David's nemesis. And so Saul wanted to kill David because he was jealous of him. But one of the things that I glean from this biblical relationship is that their friendship, in my mind, had three qualities. The first was that it was sacrificial for one another. One of them died for the other. Okay? Then they had this immense loyalty to each other. And even though David and David and Saul, I said the wrong words when I said Samuel, but Saul was Jonathan's dad. And so David and Jonathan had this immense loyalty to one another. And then you all said something very similar, too, is that they were free to express their emotions. And you all had mentioned that in your relationships with your girlfriends. Valerie, you went back to 3 years old, I think? 3 years old. And I can go back to a friendship that's been working for me since I was in second grade.
Okay.
I love
it. And Val, you and I have been friends for 100 years almost. It's been a long time. And one of those things that you said, you know, you have to be able to check one another. And I can recall many times when, Valerie, you have checked me. You have looked me square in the eye and you have said, no, you can't say that. You can't do that. I mean, but it's all in what we call love. Okay? Right. Yeah.
Right.
So I totally agree with y'all in that friendship is one, and these are friendships that we choose. Right. You know what I mean? We choose them. And we choose them for whatever reason, but we choose them because there is a connection that we make with the other person. Okay, they're made by you. Okay, and you've got friends for different circumstances and different occasions. And all friends don't fit in the same mold. You know what I mean?
Right. You're right.
Yeah, they don't. And so you have some friends that you're partying with, so to speak.
Exactly.
You've got some friends who are going to be with you come hell or high water. And then you got some friends who are just going to be your fair weather friends, but they're still your friends. You know they're not going to be around for when that really tough stuff comes. But you can count on them. Let's say you can count on them to make you laugh.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So these are the things that we make by choice. And I also like to say that I like to have friendships where the other person has got your back. You know, they're the ones the conversation you're in, you pick up exactly where you left off. And no matter the time, no matter the space, no matter the distance, the circumstance. But one of the things that I think you always have to do is to invest in our relationships.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to give them time. You got to be inspired by them. And these are what I call deep-rooted connections.
Oh, yes.
That deserve love, care, and attention. And sometimes we don't do the proper investment. So we've got to make deposits. We've got to make deposits into our relationships in order to make them long-lasting, in order to make them work.
I understand what you mean. Because I think where our conundrum comes from is that we're in that age where you have kids and you're going, the kids have all these activities, and then some of us have aging parents that we're taking care of or aging relatives. And so it's like you have another life.
Right.
And so you are right. You have to make time for your friends or just to go out and eat, because I know, like you said, Jack, we do have these different friends. I have friends I travel with, and then, like you said, friends because oddly enough, it seems like I would say 75% of my friends are married with kids. And so, like you said, you have to understand that giving it, and like, well, no, and I tell them it's okay. You have to be mommy right now, and I tell them go in mommy mode. I understand it's not a problem. I get it, and and then when we can, and so I don't take offense to it, because like you said, we all have stuff on our plate, and so it's just like you said, a time when you can, I guess you'd say, kind of figure out or make time for, maybe a massage or going to catch coffee and catching up or catch a movie together or have a girls' night out or, one of those kind of deals. And so you just have to schedule it, so to speak. So we try to do that. I think we're off with it a little bit, but, it's life. You got life going on,
Absolutely.
We're grown, so.
Yeah.
Right.
And life happens. Y'all know, life happens. Yeah. And it's just like you were saying a little while ago, Jackie, we have to cultivate those relationships.
Yes, we do.
And that requires work. And again, it goes back to how I just compartmentalize. And it's not something that's negative. It's actually positive, because it helps to remind me where people, even though those who are in my inner circle, some of them, and you said a few minutes ago, one of you talking about how, everyone, even the ones that are ride or die, they're still not equipped to handle, some might be able to handle things that others cannot. And it made me think about immediately how when my father passed several years ago, I had friends who were like Johnny on the spot. They were like there, people who were in that inner circle. And then I had one who was in the inner circle, and I knew she loved me. And she had already called and expressed her condolences, we'll be there for you or whatever. But for whatever reason, she's not that one that you can talk to or who's going to just come and sit there and just be there, those kinds. But they love you and they care, but they can't. And that's because of who they are as an individual.
Right. And
I learned years ago, you don't love them any less, and they don't love you any less. But we have to accept them for who they are, and always meet people right where they are. We don't ever want them to change. We want them to be their true, authentic self, because when, we try to make them into what we want, what happens when we do that, we are trying to do that cookie cutter thing. And what I love, and I'm so thankful for my circle of friends is that all of you are different. The two of you, as much as the three of us are like, for example, we're all uniquely different. And we bring different things to the relationships that the three of us have with each other.
Right.
And the other thing I've
learned
is that the other thing that I've learned too about friends, just like you have a friend for a specific purpose. And friends don't give you
right there.
You have friends for a specific purpose, and every friend is not going to do everything that you need that person to do. For instance, this second grade friend that I was talking about earlier. I mean, she is one. She has been in my life since I was second grade. That's 9 years. 8 or 9 years old. Long time. Yeah. I don't talk to her every day, but every time there is something in my life, she shows up. Every time.
Wow.
Every time she shows up. I've got one friend that she is my wisdom partner. She gives me those words of wisdom when I need them, and that is what her place is. And so I think we have to know and understand that friends have different callings in our lives.
Right.
And we have to accept what calling that they have in our life. I think that makes a big difference. And yes, you were. You just saying that. And the other thing I think, we also have to do, too, is to give our friends grace. And we talked about grace and gratitude last week. We have to give them grace, because there's some friends that we would want to be with us during these difficult or challenging times, and we have to understand that person is not equipped to do it. Right, that's not who they are. So we have to give them the grace and mercy to understand that it's okay. It really is.
That it is so important. And I'm sure that for people over the years, just because he wasn't there for you, or he didn't go, or she didn't come to support you at your whatever, or doing your whatever, it doesn't mean that he or she, or that they love you any less. But you have to stop and consider, first of all, who they are as individuals. And Valerie said something earlier which was so true, is that we're all adults. And so life happens and everything is going on. Those of us who are married and with children, I'm sure we can all attest to the fact that we have family members and friends who are like us, married with children. But guess what? We didn't all lay down and conceive at the same time, or the same year, or the same generation. I mean, and it's okay. Everyone does not have the claim to fame to say, we're empty nesters, we've raised 5, they're doing great. It's just, no, everyone doesn't have that. Everyone cannot say that. So to be able to understand, as Jackie said, everyone has their place, and we have to be able and willing to understand that. And when I tell people sincerely, absolutely, when they say, I'm just not going to be able to do that or go with you or hang out, listen, it's good. We were talking earlier, right, that you have girlfriends that you just go hang out with, you shop with, or you do a girls' night out. When I tell you, I know who those people are in my life, and I thank God for them. And some of those are my for real ride or dies, because they're there for you, and they will go in and deep, and they roll hard. What do they say? Down like 4 flat tires. Yeah, that right there. So that is a blessing in and of itself.
Right. The other kind of relationships that we can talk about, we talk about friendships, and those are the ones that are chosen. But there's this thing that is this biological relationships that we can't choose. We can't choose. They're God ordered. Right there, we can't choose them.
Right. Because sometimes they are divine, no matter what we think about them. They're the biological connections, and they were created and granted to us through divine providence, and we have no control of them. Good, bad, different, grounded, solid, dysfunctional, whatever, But that first relationship that we have is the one with our parents. Right.
Our parents are the first relationships that we. And if we go to the scriptures again, the 5th commandment talks about honor your father and your mother, and that's in Exodus 20:12. And that is the only command. It was the first commandment with promise. And it says, honor your father and your mother so that you will have long life.
Right.
Long life. Right. Parents are to be obeyed and honored. But it's interesting, as we are children, our parents can do no wrong.
Isn't that true?
They can do no wrong. And if you realize when you were growing up, and Monica, since you have children, I'm sure you've heard this. When I was growing up, I used to say, Mom, you're the best mom in the world. And I get that now. My son, Mom, you're the best mom in the world. And I'm thinking, I'm the only one you have.
I'm the only mom you have. You have a frame of reference here? But okay,
that's right. Only one. And it's those beginning, it's where we learn in those relationships to love and lift other people, because our parents have loved and lifted us. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that we have no control over them, whether they're good or bad or indifferent or grounded, solid or dysfunctional, God placed us in those biological relationships for a reason and for a divine purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is so much greater than our own individual selves.
That's right.
Woo! That right there.
That's right.
And here's the thing: unlike the friendships that we choose, through our spiritual connected, through our divine, our Father, through our God, through our infinite intelligence, they choose us. We are chosen. So the table turns, so to speak. We don't have a voice in that. We just have to take it, what they say, the good with the bad, the bitter with the
right,
and all that jazz. And make the best of it, which isn't always easy. Because we could talk till this time next week about the dynamics of family relationships.
Right.
Familial family relationships. Boy, that's an exhale.
Yeah. And sometimes those can be
exhale.
Yeah, sometimes those relationships can be harder to deal with.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can also be the ones that we don't honor the most. And let me give
Amen.
We don't honor them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean,
You're right. You're right.
I don't want to say that we kind of take them for granted, but we kind of take them for granted because we believe and think and know that they're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But we will treat the person in the grocery store with more kindness and more love and more respect than we will those in our own family.
Right.
For whatever reason. For whatever reason. And it really is incumbent upon us to look at our biological and our familial relationships and understand that they must be honored no matter what the dysfunction, if there is dysfunction. And I think that all families have a bit of dysfunction, okay? Because it's not perfect. But we don't, sometimes we don't invest what we should invest in our family relationships in the way that we would invest in external relationships or relationships that are not biological. And we should, because in the final analysis, as you know, we always know, family will always be there. Even though it can be good, it can be bad, family will be there. That's just my take on that. I think they will always be there.
At the end of the day, you're right.
At the end of the day.
And what is the saying now? Family over everything.
Family over everything. That's right. And there's sometimes those friendships that we're talking about, they can be just like family too. And so when I said the first scripture, a friend loves at all times and a brother is born for a time of adversity, you know, always. Family is what I consider to be the foundation of our lives, and I think that friendships bring fulfillment to our life. They bring fulfillment to that, and I don't think either one of those needs to be demanding. And what I mean by that, we've alluded to this before, is that we can't hold our friendships or even our family members hostage to things that they are not equipped to handle or to do for us. So that's why I say they should not be demanding.
No. And I honestly believe, and I agree with you, Jackie, we have to understand their family, their human beings, so because they're flawed, like we all are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's true. And, you know, and I guess, you know, because I don't have any siblings, so for me it was cousins, and then, like you said, I guess for me, I also have friends who I would call like sisters. You know, we're close like that, you know. So to me, they were my God-sent sister, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, though I may not have a biological sister, I have one, you know, through love and friendship and trust and, you know, you built over the years with. And so, like you said, I understand where you're coming from, but also you have to also know, I call it when to hold them and when to fold them. And so you know, you do have some family members who will, you know, you can love them, but sometimes you got to love them from afar. And I don't mean afar, but it is what it is. And so, you know, it might be best I love you in California and I'm here in Georgia. You know what I mean? It might be, and that's fine, you know, but you know, you have to find what's going to be healthy for you. And, you know, so I guess that's my little 2 cents with that. Yeah, like you said, sometimes, it could be interesting. Like you said, those family dynamics can be quite interesting. And,
they can
you know,
that's a dysfunction in them.
Yeah, I mean, we're treading, you know, and we're walking. It's sort of like how it is in some real family relationships anyway, like you're walking on eggshells. Because even now we're being very cautious in terms of what we say about the family dynamics and how we say it. But I tell people all the time, life is too short. It is so short. We just don't ever know. So if there is anything that is coming between or that has come between any of us in our family relationships, make it right. Make it right, because you don't want to get that call to find out, and then you realize we never fixed that incident that happened last year or 15 years ago. We never put that best. And no one wants to walk around with that guilty conscience thing. And the Bible reminds us that when you've done your part, in terms of you've extended the olive branch, you apologize. You've done your part.
Right.
You have done your part. It is up to the other person. The ball is now in their court as to whether or not they accept or receive. If they do, it's wonderful. If they don't, it hurts, and it's not a good feeling, but you've done your part. You have done your part. So hold your head up.
Yes.
I mean,
forgiveness is, I agree with it. Forgiveness is key in all of relationships and with grace. And we also need to know that forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for
it's for yourself.
It's for the one who's offering.
It's for you.
You know,
it's
for you. Right. And so we have to always act upon that and know that that our family and friends, they can have a positive influence or they can be a spiritual hindrance. You know, and I also believe that you got to release those relationships, and this is what you were saying too, Valerie, is that you have to release those relationships that cause you disruption, and embrace those that bring you joy. Okay,
exactly.
Because our relationships they must serve us well, and when they don't, we just have to let them go. And I think unapologetically let them go if it's not serving you well.
Right.
Okay.
And it's okay. And it's okay. And it's okay. I think that's where we get caught up, is that we're, because I know I had that issue. It's like, you know, I had another girlfriend that we had been friends, goodness, in high school, I think since I was like 15, and she might have been 13. And no, she was like 14. But anyway, and it was sucking me dry. I mean, really, and it was too much, and I had to let it go, and it wasn't a bad thing because we're still cool. I mean, you know, it's not like we're friends from afar. I have to love you from afar, and it's okay, you know. And I think what Monica said, I don't know, and for me, the insight came when my dad died. I kind of had to shake a lot of things loose. And it was like, for me, a purging process. And I don't know if that was the stages of the grief or what I was going through, but it was just, you know what, this ain't working for me. I'm gonna have to put you over there, and it's okay. And you know, and it was what it was, and we move on, Mark, and move on. And so we did, but we're still fine. I won't have no ill remorse. When my grandmother passed last year, got a card from her, you know, and it was cool because I told her that she died because I guess for me, anytime you break bread with me or my family, you know, that's then you're part of the group, you know, and so I told her out of
your
right,
legs under our face.
Exactly. So, but we were fine, you know. So I think, like you said, that when it becomes unhealthy, you need to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And most of the time, you gotta let it go.
Yeah. Well, because there are a lot of toxic relationships out there, and they are, as you said a few minutes ago, that they will suck the very life out of you. Negative. It's dark, just like that vampire thing. But it will just drain you and suck the life out of you. And sometimes, if we allow them to get too close, they disturb our souls and they shake us up and they rattle us and they disrupt our peace. And I'm at that stage in my life where, not going to happen.
Right.
No.
Right.
I love you, but as y'all said a few minutes ago,
it's very interesting that we have to get some age on us before we realize these valuable life lessons, because if some of this stuff I had known when I was much younger, there would be some relationships and some people who would not have come into my life.
Hear me on that.
You know? That's a sign.
You're here.
That right there.
It just
that right there.
That's exactly it.
Then what I know now, oh no, you can't come into my life for whatever reason, you know. But, you know, we've got these great friendships and we've got family members who we love dearly. And Valerie, you have not been married. And Monica, you and I have been married. But Valerie, you know what you can draw on when we talk about these marriage relationships? You can draw on your experience with your mother and your father. You know, marriage is one of those relationships that we choose. Hopefully we choose it rather with God's help and God's guidance.
Right.
But it can be a very, as one of my friends would say, she says, you know, marriage can be heaven on earth or it can be hell on earth.
Exactly.
You know, and marriage is hard. It's because you are bringing together two different people who have a different, they got different biology, of course. They have different cultural experiences, different backgrounds. Right. You are trying to merge those two different people into one. Yes. And that is a most difficult thing to do if you are not able, if you do not come into it with advice and consent. Advice meaning talking with someone about what marriage is all about, and then consent meaning consent from God. Okay? Because we can all say, I want to be married, but you need to put some parameters around it. Anybody can get a man. Anybody can get a woman to marry.
Absolutely.
But, you know, that's a dime a dozen. But you want who is going to be with you, you know, hopefully till death do us part, to be a perfect relationship in an imperfect world. Because you are bringing together two imperfect people, and you want the relationship to be perfect. And I believe that relationship can be perfect only if God is at the center.
Absolutely. And that is where so many people miss it because, you know, I've told many people over the years and just shared from my own experiences. Number one, and not just marriages, but also relationships. So since we're talking about marriages, but all relationships are works in progress. Marriage takes two, relationships take two. And all of them they have a common denominator. It's a 4-letter word called work. You know, you have to be willing to put in the work. And as in with relationships and marriages, as long as they are not toxic, because we used the word earlier, cultivate. That was said and that was spoken. And we have to allow relationships to become. We have to give them room to develop And often that requires us having to step aside. We must get out of our own way because we can be our biggest disruptors, disturbers, detractors. We can get in our own way and block the very things that are actually being divinely sent to us. So the work is there. The question is, are you willing to put in the work? And what I've seen and experienced on the sideline watching with so many people is these days it's so easy to walk away from marriages. Rarely do you see people saying, you know what, let's just sit down. Let's pray about this. Let's get some counseling because we stood before, first of all, God. And we stood before man. We stood before the person who married us before our family and friends. And we declared that for better or worse, through sickness and in health, richer or poor, until death do us part. That's right. And rarely does that happen. Yes, those words
they mean something.
And then I tell people too. I would never tell anyone leave your husband. I would never tell anyone that. But I'm mindful, and I do tell them. I said we do know in the Old Testament that God did tell Moses to tell the people, go on and grant them a decree of divorcement because He would rather that for them. He would rather them have that than to burn. But the other thing is that I tell is that you have to understand that in the vows themselves, the vow. Listen to the words, and this right here will preach all by itself, y'all.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Hey, Valerie, let no man put upon
like I said, Valerie, you haven't been married before, and that's quite all right. Nobody says you have to get married. What I was going to ask you though was that your parents were married a long time before your dad passed away. Okay, and so you have seen the marriage fulfilled until death do us part. So if you don't mind sharing, with us, what were some of the dynamics that you saw as a daughter growing up in the family with your mom and dad? What did you see in their relationship?
Compromising, talking, communication. But the funniest thing, though, is that I came from a family where my mom is one of 6, and my dad was the only as well. And so all of my aunts and uncles have been married, still married. I have a couple that one of my aunts is divorced, and then my uncle who's, been remarried a couple of times. But my grandparents, good Lord, I want to say when my grandfather passed, they may have been married for like 50-some-odd years. So I've seen, you see what I'm saying, even though I've never been married, that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not now. That to me, it's like Monica said, you have to, it's compromise, bring two people coming together, and I think that's one of the things that I've noticed is that my parents and my aunts and uncles, they knew each other. They knew their spouses. They grew up with each other, and see, that's what for me, I'm noticing with my group now, the singles, that's hard. You rarely find someone now who's married their high school sweetheart. I mean, rarely in our age group. You know what I mean? It's either they did and they're still not married, but to still be, it's just, it ain't happening. It just isn't.
Or they're married in name only.
Right. And so you finding, to me, we were just talking about this. I'm in a Facebook group, and the compromising that we fail to do is either, it's not going to be 50-50, it's going to either be 60-40, 70-30, and that's where the problem lies. So to me, and maybe maybe my standards are high, and that's fine, but I want what my parents have. I know now I won't probably be married for 50 years or 45 like they were, but I want to be close to it. You know, I don't want to, I don't want to do this again. You know, I don't want to have to, you know, go, because dating is hard. It's hard. It's hard out here, you know, and it's coming with, I would like a ride or die in my mate. Just like how I have with my girlfriends, I want that with my mate. I watched this little family. They're called, what is it called? The Duvals. They have like a little Facebook thing, and they're the cutest little thing. And it's like a little relationship. But I think they met in college. But they're the silliest with each other, and then when you can see they have communication, you know, not all fun and games, but when it comes to, I'm sure, the talking of it and whatnot, you know, communication to me is the key. And they seem to communicate with each other. And just like watching Monica and Steve, they're the cutest little thing. I know she probably like, I know she didn't just tell my husband, say, yes, I did, Monica.
Now,
but watching them, you know, and she lets him shine, he lets her shine. It's cute, but I know it's not all, you know, cute and buttons with them. I'm sure it's not, but you can tell they communicate with each other.
And the other thing, too, that I think you will find in marriages that last, as you said, 50 years, because I've seen a couple of them, not many. I haven't seen.
Right.
I haven't seen many. My grandparents were married for 52 years. I have an aunt and an uncle who were married for 50 years. And then Deacon Price and Mrs. and Armour D. Price are married for almost 50 years as well at church.
Right.
But one of the things that Reverend Shepherd taught me many years ago when I was undergoing my marriage counseling was that, you know, you got to have you got to have a stool, and it's got to have 3 legs on it. And those 3 legs are love, respect, and trust. Those 3 things. And we tend to put in communication, but love is, no matter what that person does, you will still love them. I'm glad he doesn't say you have to like them, but we do have to love them. Okay?
Right.
And then respect. Respect is what a man wants and needs from his mate. Love is what a woman needs from the mate, and trust is what they both need.
Right.
And so, you know, we've got to make sure that those elements are there, and also understand that in the marriage relationship, even though we want the other person to be everything for the other, we cannot depend upon the spouse to make us happy. We cannot depend on the spouse to give us joy. Now, I do believe that the spouse should add to the other spouse's happiness. You should not detract from it. Add to it. And we don't need to go into with any kind of unrealistic expectations.
Right.
In that regard. And sometimes that's what we do. We go into it with unrealistic expectations. And divorce in the church is really high for whatever reason. But
I think what you said is when you said those 3 pillars, like you said, I can see my parents had that. I can see my grandparents having that. But I think what happens is that we started to distrust each other or not respect each other. And like you said, so that's where I think our faults are lying. You see the divorce rate going high. Is you know, we're just not, and you can even see it in our society today. We don't respect each other. You know, when you turn on the TV, you hear how many. Either if it's not road rage, somebody shooting somebody for driving too slow, or you get cut off, or, you know, someone flip you off, or something. You know, we're not respecting each other, you know, or our common values, or, you know,
yeah. You know, one thing one thing I want to say about this whole, and this is in all the relationships we've talked about. We talked about the marriage relationship. We talked about the biological family relationships, and we talked about friendships. One of the things that I think is very important in each one of those is that we have to be able to die to self. We cannot be selfish in our relationships. So you must be able to let the other person shine, even in the midst of whatever is going on. So you got to be able to die to self. And that means that you're putting the needs and the wants of the other person ahead of your own.
Right.
And that takes a lot of work to learn how to do. But we've got to learn. That's one of the things that we have to learn how to do is to die to self. Love, respect, trust, and die to self.
But I can say for the two of you all, especially as being mothers, you do that every day. Every day.
Oh, die to self?
Oh, yes.
Every day you do that.
Every day.
You know, seriously, you know, and like you said, that is something you have to learn about, not being envious or selfish of your spouse or your friend. Because, you know, to me, and I guess it might be just something my mom that taught me, is just that, you know, when you get a come up, to me, it's like we all got to come up. I'm just
we all
how I am. You
we
know,
all.
When you shine, I feel like I'm shining too. You know, I mean,
we all shining.
So right, you know, I remember when my girlfriend, she got her house last year, and I was, oh, I can't wait to see our house. You know, our house. You know, she paying the mortgage on it, but you know what I mean. But it was just, I was proud of her. And then another girlfriend at church, she just got a house, and that was why I was telling her I was so proud of her, because that is such a huge accomplishment. So it's not a form of being jealous, you know. To me, then that's where there's no love in that. You know what I mean? It's just if I'm envious of you, then how can I say in the same breath that I love you? That's to me a contradiction.
Major. And just my
all right, danger.
Hey.
Well,
communication.
Well, ladies, we are
communication.
Out of time.
Communication is key.
What did you say, Monica?
We out of time.
No, I was just saying communication.
Yeah, we out of time. Gotta go.
Communication is key. And if I could just say one more thing, Jackie, and I'm done. Relationships, marriages. Remember, people, that person should compliment you. You don't need them to complete you. But so many people look for that. And on that, I'm out. Yeah. That's a topic for a whole nother podcast.
True. That's right.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Val. It's been
thank
live.
you.
All right. Thanks, Mom.
All
Bye,
right.
Jack.
Y'all have a good evening, ladies, and we will talk again next week.
All right.
Next.
Have a good one.
Okay. Have a good one. Take care, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ciao.
That's right. Yeah. Pray to him. You got to put in the work too. That's right. You just can't pray and he just give it to you. No, he ain't gonna give it to you. You gotta put in the work. He gonna put in the work. We gonna put in the work. And we put it together, and it's called teamwork. Now everybody knows that nothing comes easy when you gotta go inside. You might have a chance, but you gotta have faith if you want the right things in life. Everybody wants that easy road. Nobody wanna put in the work. Then you point your fingers at God 'cause it didn't work. Now you got your feelings hurt. Why? Because you did not pray. Why? Because you didn't have faith. Why? Your heart was not in the right place. Why? Or maybe you was in a dark place. But this is not the time to be down. So you better stand up. You better turn that frown upside down. And you better stand up. You gotta put in the work. He gon' put in the work. We we gon' put in the work. And we put it together, and it's all teamwork. See, everyone in life has had to go and face their fears. And if there is a lack of prayer, then soon follow the tears. So never give up hope, because there is nothing to fear. Just put in the work and you will see it all so clear. Oh, so clear. Wait a minute, you got to focus on you. Oh, so clear. And when you plant that seed, that's when he'll come through. Oh, so clear. There is no I in team, so you better team up. Oh, so clear. I got the perfect partner for you. Just look up. You gotta put in the work. He gon' put in the work. We gon' put in the work. And we put it together, and it's called teamwork. W means you're willing to fight for it all. O means outlasting every downfall. R means resurrection, God all up in this place. K means you kick the devil right in his face, and I'm like, work, pray, work, come on and work, pray, work, come on and work, pray, work, come on and work, pray, work, pray, work, you gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the work. He gon' put in the work. He gon' put in the work. We gon' put in the work. You gotta put in the work. And we put it together, and it's called teamwork. Here we go now.